This place is a must visit if you love fish and quaint, small seaside towns, so come with me to Homer, Alaska. Good morning for our last day in Homer, and we're going kayaking today. As I said, we were supposed to do the glacier kayak yesterday, but had to switch it to the ocean kayak. So we arrived at 10 a.m. at the pier where we got on our water taxi for about 25 minutes. We're going into Kachemak Bay State Park where we'll be starting our kayaking. While we waited for the guides to set up the kayaks, we saw a lion's mane jellyfish floating near the shore, and then we were off. Basically, we were kayaking in a group of 8 through the bay as we tried to spot wildlife either in the water or along the tree line. And our first sighting was a bald eagle in the trees above us. After this, our guide pointed out this starfish lounging on the rock. Since the tides were lower, he picked it up and let us hold it all for a minute or so, and then we returned it gently back to its rock. It's starting to get sunnier now as we kayaked towards the mountains, and then we spotted a few brown lumps, which happened to be a family of sea otters. Some were definitely a little nervous and standing straight up in the water, so we didn't want to get too close to them. Finally, we arrived to Saddle Trailhead, where we would start our 3-mile round-trip hike to Gruing Glacier. The guides gave us some hot chocolate to warm up and then told us to be back in a few hours for the water taxi back to Homer. The hike is a little switchbacky in the beginning, but then it evens out and ends at this beautiful lake with the glacier at the end between the mountains. And then on their way back, you get views of Kachemak Bay and Halibut Cove. Once the guides were coming back to pick us up, the tide had come in, so the beach we were standing on before was completely gone. The boat basically had to be extended to some rocks for us to climb onto, but at least the dog was welcoming us back on board. On our way back to Homer, we took a few detours. We passed through Halibut Cove, where many of the houses are on stilts to adjust to the highs and lows of the tide. True to Alaskan weather, the ride started getting a little bumpy and it was dark out, but then all of a sudden an orca whale popped out literally in front of our boat. Even the guide was amazed, and we stopped the boat to try to see if the orca would pop back up, but sadly it didn't. It only came up one more time a bit further away and then disappeared. Our next stop on the detour was to Gull Island, which is a tiny rocky island in the middle of the sea, and it's home to 10,000 nesting seabirds like puffins, cormorants, and kittiwakes. We even saw another bald eagle perched on the side of the rock, which is definitely the closest I've ever been to a bald eagle. And once we were back to Homer, we started our slightly nerve-wracking 5-ish hour drive back to Anchorage in the dark. And that's all for Homer. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.